100 calorie, something listed as 100 calories per serving. So in any case, I'd like to start with something that's rather basic and yet can be pretty complex. And that's this issue of energy balance and energy utilization. I think most people have heard of a calorie.
Yep.
I'm assuming that most people don't actually know what that is in terms of how it works and what it represents. And so maybe you could just explain for people what happens when we eat food of any kind, and how is that actually converted into energy as a way of framing up the discussion around weight loss, weight maintenance, weight gain, and body composition.
A great question. Like you said, this is one of those things where, people use the term calories in, calories out, and they say, well, that's way too simplistic. And I'm like, if you look at what actually makes up calories in, calories out, it's actually very complicated, right? So let's deal with what you mentioned first. What is a calorie? Because I think a lot of people don't quite understand this. So a calorie just refers to a unit of energy, of heat specifically. So, well, what does that have to do with food? What does that have to do with what we digest and eat? Really what you're talking about is the potential chemical energy that is in the bonds of the macronutrients of food, right? And by digesting, assimilating, and metabolizing those nutrients, we're able to create energy. And the end product of that mostly is ATP, adenosine triphosphate, which is your body's energy currency. Stepping back and taking it back out, what does that have to do with weight loss or weight gain, right? Well, when you think about the balance of energy in versus energy out, sounds very simple. But let's look at what actually makes up energy in versus energy out. First of all, you've got to realize that the energy inside of the equation is more difficult to track than people think, right? So one, food labels, which we like to think as being, from upon high, can have up to a 20% error in them.
Really?
Yeah.
So 100 calorie, something listed as 100 calories per serving, what's actually in there could be 80 or 120.
Right, exactly. So that's one aspect of it. The second aspect is there's what's called your energy, but then there's also metabolizable energy, right? So if you have food stuff with, say, a lot of insoluble fiber, typically insoluble fiber is not really digestible.